Chiefs Kingdom, let's go, baby. It's official. Excited for 2026 and just excited to put on the Chiefs uniform in front of you guys again. Let's get Arrowhead rocking, baby. We'll see you guys in a few months.
How Travis Kelce Chiefs extension and that unexpected Taylor Swift moment turned a routine signing into a full-blown 2026 obsession. There are contract signings, and then there are statement signings, the kind that don't just alter a roster, but reshape the conversation around an entire franchise. And on the day Travis Kelce put pen to paper for what Chiefs fans are calling his 14th-year moment, something even bigger than football seemed to leak into the atmosphere. Kelce's return to the spotlight didn't arrive quietly. It came with the energy of a player who understands branding as well as blocking. It came with a crowd-ready vibe, home sweet home, Chiefs Kingdom. Let's get Arrowhead rocking, and it came with a detail that instantly pulled in people who barely watch tight ends but never miss pop culture headlines. Because if the signing itself was headline-grabbing, the spark that followed is what truly lit up the internet. The chatter that Kelce, during the signing festivities, addressed his fiancée, Taylor Swift, exactly the kind of crossover moment that turned sports news into mainstream media oxygen. Whether fans treat it as a joke, a flex, or simply a candid slip, the result is the same. The Chiefs didn't just keep a star. They turned the signing into a cultural event. And once the cultural event started, everything else, contract length, money, aging curves, soccer jersey symbolism, and even World Cup mode became part of the same story. Let's break down what happened, why it matters, what fans fear and what they hope, and how one tight end's next chapter could define the Chiefs' outlook for years to come. When Kelce stepped into his new agreement, the vibe from everyone involved: Kelce, the Chiefs, the fans, was unmistakably positive. The words coming out of the celebration were pure home stadium adrenaline. Home sweet home. We're excited. Back in the Chiefs uniform. Chiefs Kingdom, let's go. Those aren't careful, neutral phrases. They're the language of a player who wants the extension to feel like continuity, not a last stop. And that matters, because the NFL's history is full of veteran extensions that look great in press releases but feel messy in real time. Fans have seen what manageable for one more season looks like when the body eventually starts pushing back. They've watched elite players turn into highlight packages instead of week-to-week game breakers. So the moment Kelce's contract extension was announced, reportedly a 3-year deal worth about $54 million, with the possibility of climbing to roughly $57.7 million, with incentive, supporters immediately tried to decide which version of the future they were signing up for. At first, some fans were anxious about the idea that Kelce might be nearing the end earlier than expected. But the narrative flipped fast once the deal details spread. Online reactions reflected two competing camps. These fans see Kelce as more than a stat line. They see him as a centerpiece in the Chiefs' offensive rhythm, a security blanket for Patrick Mahomes, an experience engine in a system built on timing and trust. In that worldview, keeping Kelce isn't just about what he can do now, it's about what he makes everyone else better at doing now. These fans focus on wear and tear. They recall last season moments where Kelce looked like a player managing limitations rather than simply dominating. They also interpret contract length, reportedly suggesting he could be in Kansas City through the late part of the decade, as a risk factor. If the contract is structured in a way that leaves options open, potentially allowing Kelce to step away after the 2026 season if he chooses, then the extension isn't necessarily a play until 2030, no matter what mandate. Instead, it could function like a safety rail. The Chiefs get the veteran certainty for 2026 and likely 2027. Kelce gets clarity and control over how he wants to manage the later years. Fans get the best-case scenario. Continuity now, leverage later. And according to the chatter around the deal, Kelce is set to earn around $12 million next season, with performance-based bonuses potentially adding upside. So the signing isn't simply about extending a career. It's about extending the relationship between a franchise quarterback, a reliable weapon, and a winning identity. Now we get to the part that's hardest to summarize academically, because it didn't land like a technical detail. It landed like a headline. During the excitement of the signing event, the idea that Kelce referenced his fiancée, Taylor Swift, spread widely. Even if fans disagree on the exact phrasing or intent, the cultural meaning is obvious. Kelce and Swift are not just separate spheres anymore. A tight end signing a contract should be a tight end signing a contract. But once you sprinkle in a Taylor Swift connection, especially in the tone of playful, "We're celebrating together" energy, the event becomes bigger than Kansas City. It becomes national. It becomes automatic click-through. And it becomes a moment where everyone watching feels like they were there for something more than sports. If the Taylor Swift conversation was the cultural ignition, another detail fueled the Sports Plus world vibe. Kelce was reportedly wearing a United States men's national soccer team goalkeeper jersey, an unexpected choice at a Chiefs signing. In one sense, it's just clothing. But fans read symbols like they read playbooks. And the timing matters. Soccer is gearing up for another major international summer, and the idea of Kelce going World Cup mode fits the larger vibe of the signing moment: fun, global, celebratory, and slightly outside the usual NFL script. Whether the jersey was a direct nod to upcoming soccer events, a flex of Kelce's personal interests, or simply a playful fashion moment, it created a crossover sports aesthetic that people immediately latched onto. And because tight ends rarely show up in soccer goalkeeper fits during NFL contract coverage, the internet did what it always does. It turned it into a meme-able, discussable, "Wait, why is that so iconic?" detail. Here's the part fans often forget when they turn contracts into debates about age. The Chiefs aren't building an offense around a tight end because it's trendy. They're building around trust. Keeping Kelce in the system isn't just roster management. It's continuity. Continuity matters more in the NFL than most people want to admit, because offensive cohesion is not something you can snap into place during training camp and hope it works during the playoffs. The Chiefs have proven they can do the job year after year because the system has anchors. Kelce is one of the biggest anchors they've ever had. The 2026 season question isn't can he still play? It's a deeper question. How will the Chiefs use Kelce when the athletic peak isn't the only variable? There are a few realistic trajectories fans might see over the next stretch. If Kelce remains fast enough and healthy enough, the extension could simply keep the Chiefs' offense in its most comfortable gear. Even if performance is declining slightly, a smart offensive coordinator can protect a veteran by designing routes that minimize punishment, increasing red zone effectiveness, and limiting certain matchups. This is the version some fans fear and others accept. Kelce stays in the offense, but the targets shift slightly toward other weapons or more situational usage while his leadership becomes as valuable as his production. Each outcome changes how worth it the extension feels in hindsight. But one thing is clear, even if Kelce's role evolves, his presence is still strategic. The Chiefs didn't extend him just to fill a spot. They extended him because he matters. The most interesting part of all this isn't whether fans think Kelce is done or still unstoppable. It's that the debate exposes how Chiefs fans like fans everywhere react when legends approach the limits of time. You can love a player and still worry. You can want the team to win and still fear the cost of insisting that the past can keep winning exactly the same way. So the reaction is divided, but it's united in one emotion. This is a high-stakes moment for the franchise narrative. If the Chiefs make a strong push in the next 2 seasons, the extension will look brilliant. If they struggle or if Kelce's decline becomes more visible than fans expect, critics will say the contract was too long. The Chiefs are choosing to believe that Kelce can still contribute at a level worth building around, at least for the near term. But the structure and the flexibility implied by reports suggests the organization isn't betting everything on an unquestioned late-career miracle. Meanwhile, Kelce's signing energy, the playful home sweet home messaging, the soccer jersey symbolism, and the buzz around Taylor Swift create the kind of emotional storm that only happens when a sports moment crosses into culture. That doesn't guarantee wins. But it does guarantee one thing: the Chiefs' 2026 story won't be quiet. It will be loud. It will be debated. And it will be watched. Because when Travis Kelce says it's official, Chiefs fans hear something more than a contract confirmation. They hear the start of a chapter. And judging by the reaction already building, that chapter is going to be unforgettable even if it forces everyone to face the one truth no extension can cancel. Time always comes for legends. If you want, I can also rewrite this in a more sports blog tone, more hype, more short paragraphs. Make it more news article style neutral, fewer opinions. Or tailor it to match a specific publication voice, ESPN like, Bleacher Report like, Local Kansas City newspaper like